One thing that I'm not clear about in the draft agreement is the framework. If we suspect that Iran is harboring a nuclear program outside of the facilities, that in southeastern Iran, we discover that on a military base there, is it your understanding it is our right to inspect that facility, anywhere in Iran, not just the known nuclear sites?
Well, there are a couple of things that I think are important.
There's been a lot of debate about
Absolutely.
this. It'd be good to clarify.
In the first instance, what we've agreed to is that we will be able to inspect and verify what's happening along the entire nuclear chain, from the uranium mines all the way through to the final facilities like Natanz. What that means is that we're not just going to have a bunch of folks posted at 2 or 3 or 5 sites. We are going to be able to see what they are doing across the board. And in fact, if they now wanted to initiate a covert program that was designed to produce a nuclear weapon, they'd have to completely duplicate. They'd have to create a whole different supply chain. That's point number one. Point number two, we're actually going to be setting up a procurement committee that examines what they're importing, what they're bringing in that they might claim as dual use, to determine whether or not what they're using is something that would be appropriate for a peaceful nuclear program versus a weapons program. And number three, what we're going to be doing is setting up a mechanism whereby, yes, IAEA inspectors can go any place.
Any place in Iran.
Now,
That we suspect. Yeah.
Obviously a request will have to be made. Iran could object. But what we have done is to try to design a mechanism whereby once those objections are heard, that it is not a final veto that Iran has, but in fact some sort of international mechanism will be in place that makes a fair assessment as to whether there should be an inspection, and if they determine it should be, that's the tiebreaker, not Iran saying, no, you can't come here. So overall, what we're seeing is not just the additional protocols that IAEA has imposed on countries that are suspected of in the past having had problematic nuclear programs. We're going even beyond that. And Iran will be subject to the kinds of inspections and verification mechanisms that have never been put in place before. They'll be as vigorous as they've ever been.